Welcome, everybody. Oh, God, that was a hot open. Welcome, everybody, to Confidently Insecure, the podcast where we're absolutely sure we don't know everything. Hey, are you following us on Twitter or Instagram? It's at ConfidentlyPod. You can DM me there, tell me what you want me to ask my guests, or give me ideas for stuff to talk about. What do you want to know? Have you rated us? Judge me. Do your worst. 5 stars. Please, I'm sensitive. This episode is the lovely, intelligent, brilliant Hannah Hart. I had a plan for what I was going to talk about her with. We were going to talk about her wedding. She's recently engaged to a friend of mine. We were going to talk about mental health because she has an incredible mental health podcast. We were even going to talk about her book, but I threw all of that shit out the window and we dived into talking about a book that she recommended to me called The Defining Decade, which is all about why your 20s are actually the most important decade of your life. I thought it was all going to be bullshit, and I read it in like 2 days, and my mind was blown. Highly recommend it. So that's what you're going to get. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hannah Hart. Gosh, Hannah Hart is with us, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between. We all know her as the OG YouTuber, 2-time best-selling author, host of her very own Food Network show, wow. And now host of an Ellen Tube show called A Decent Proposal.
Yep.
Welcome to Confidently Insecure. Thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was a total blast to have you on Analyze This.
Your podcast.
My podcast.
That you should go listen to. We talked about a lot of stuff.
We talked about a lot of stuff. We got real, and then we both went away from the real, and then we're back, and we kept touching on it, and then running the other way. It's perfect.
It's crazy how that works.
It was one of my favorite episodes.
Are you enjoying podcasting? It was one of your I almost just stepped on you complimenting me. It was one of your favorite episodes?
Yeah.
Making sure we got that on.
It's true. It's one of my favorite episodes of Analyze This. I think that there's a sincerity and a vulnerability, but then also a lighthearted casualness that you had that I just really enjoyed.
Keep it going.
Yeah, it was great, man.
Well, I admire you a lot. You know that. I don't need to compliment your dick hard, but you know how much I like you, and I think you're a hard worker, and I admire your career path and personal path.
I have to say that one of the things that I really enjoyed during that was when you said, wow, if I had all the same stuff going on, I would be such an asshole.
It's true, because I don't know how you maintain your niceness to people. Like, you're a boss when you need to be.
Yeah.
And you know how to get shit done. Like, I've seen you go on other people's sets and, like, fix their problems. You know? Like, especially at BuzzFeed or wherever you've done stuff, I've seen you, like, fix other people's problems, which I don't know how you have the bandwidth to do. We were just talking about how, like, energy is very precious, and you have a thing that you need to go to later tonight that you need to have energy for. So let's keep today's pod at, like, a nice middle
6.
Should we take, like, a group breath?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
listeners,
let's do it.
If you're in your car, at home, whatever you're doing, let's... God, I just got hard. That was nice.
That was good.
That was a good one.
I love to breathe.
Breathing is important, and it's the easiest thing to de-stress us, and we forget to do it all the time.
But it makes me want to fall asleep. I'm like,
does it?
Yeah. Sometimes I take deep breaths, and I'm like, I'm sleepy.
Are you one of those people that's sleepy all the time?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
You had your thyroid checked?
No, but I did just go and do a sleep study.
Oh, yeah. You talked about that on your YouTube channel.com/Harto.
Wow. Super fan.
Super fan. It's embarrassing.
I'll tell you the trick to not being an asshole. It's every day I think about the fact that one day the sun envelops the earth. You know?
And it's beautiful.
It's so, it's like, you know.
None of this fucking matters.
It all matters.
Whoa. I was just at a writing class the other day where she's a very, like, high-profile showrunner, exec, like, makes TV show. Like, every TV show you've seen, she makes it.
Oh, my God.
And she basically was like, whenever you're having a hard day with, like, writing or production or, like, someone's annoying you on set or whatever, just remember that, like, none of what we do fucking matters. Like, get a friend. Her best advice was get a friend who's, like, a doctor or something. Because she's like, my best friend is, like, a neonatal surgeon or something for babies, and she's like, whenever she's having a bad day and she calls me, it's because someone's baby died, and when I call her, it's because I can't figure out how this love connection's gonna play out this episode. And I'm like, damn, that's a pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah, unless you're doctor listeners, it doesn't fucking matter.
I have a friend that works with, she's a speech pathologist working with people with like head traumas or kids who are born without certain parts of their brain connected right. And I'm just like, wow.
You're a saint.
You're a saint.
That's why they get God complexes.
Ooh.
I'd love to have a doctor on here. This is Confidently Insecure, the podcast where we're absolutely sure we don't know everything. And the reason why I brought you on, dear Hannah, is because you are so smart in so many different ways. Like, you are smart beyond what your career path is. This is gonna be an hour of me complimenting you.
I'll take it.
I had sent your manager some topics to talk about, and then I trashed all of them because I thought of something so much better this morning. So we're going a little rogue here.
Oh, I love it.
We were originally going to talk about your wedding planning.
Yeah.
Because that can be so stressful and it's big business. It's almost like big pharma in a way, and I knew you were going to love those connections. I also want to talk about your mental health because if you're a podcast, analyze this. I want to talk about chronic pain, which we both share in common, jaw pain. But then I remembered when I did your podcast the other day, you told me about a little book called The Defining Decade, which is why your 20s matter and arguably why they are the most important years of your life. And I was complaining about my life and how I'm just a disaster and still lost, even though I, claim to be confidently insecure. And you were like, you have to read this book because everything you're talking about in some shape or form gets answered. So, like, where did you hear about this book?
I heard about this book, The Defining Decade, from, and by the way, first of all, I have to say that thanks for going rogue, because it lit a spark in me. I was like, ooh, it's not those.
We've bumped up to a 7.
I'm always like, people are like, well, here are all the questions, everything we're going to talk about. I'm like, stop showing me things.
Yeah, you want to be surprised.
Now it's just going to be boring.
Yeah, well, you're like a high-profile celeb. We can't just, like, throw questions at you. Because what if I was like, what's your sex life like? And then you're like, no.
What is my sex life like?
Like, me, as a friend, I feel like we can talk about that. But then I forget, like, this is also listened to by millions of people.
Millions of people.
Yet. But, like, I feel like you're good at the...
sex.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Defining Decade.
To the book.
To return to that question,
yes.
the question that you asked. Mike Green, a.k.a. John and Hank's dad. John Green, Hank's Green dad.
Wow, that is a really cool connection.
Told me, Hannah, you should read this book.
Wow, and how old is that, sir?
That, sir, is a man, a grown daddy
grown
man.
Adult daddy man?
Granddaddy man, you know?
Daddy man is such a gross term.
I don't know, I think he's in his early 60s.
Okay, and he told you about this book about why your 20s matter. Now, you're not in your 20s any longer.
No, I am 32.
I am rounding out. Excuse me, sorry. This is like anxiety burp from us running late. Anyways, so I'm rounding out into my 20s, and I still found this book to be incredibly valuable.
Wait, you looked it up?
I read it. This was like 5 days ago that I saw you. I loved it.
Oh, Kelsey.
Hannah just grabbed my hand, and it was nice.
Oh, my God. I'm so happy to hear that.
Well, I looked up her TED Talk. So the book is written by this woman named Meg Jay. And she's a PhD in psychology, and she specializes in people in their 20s. And so she gives a really good TED Talk. And she kind of just looks like a white lady, like a basic white bread mom.
I haven't envisioned her in my mind.
Oh, don't. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, but for those of you who don't want to read a book, is the TED Talk pretty good?
It's great. It just kind of gives like the key points that she highlights in her book. So
Yeah.
what I did was I wrote down some of my favorite sections, and I wanted to like discuss some of it with you because I feel like you have got it figured out. And I know people hate it when you say that because it's like, no, everybody has their thing. But like, you're so confident in your your presence is so confident. I feel like you'll have a lot to say about these certain sections of the book.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I can't wait to hear that. And also, like, I have my own perspective of myself sorted.
Good.
That's I guess it.
That's like a self-actualization. People usually don't hit that shit till later in life.
Or they're in their 50s and they're like, why did I have an affair and abandon my family?
Oh, wait. Like, let me trace back.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that you're more self-aware than the most.
Well,
and I feel like this book forces people to look at themselves in a way that I, for sure, in my early 20s, had no capability of doing unless someone sat down and told me to do
so far, I'm very much enjoying my 30s. Your 20s are...
Couldn't pay me to redo it.
Phew,
Couldn't pay me.
Could not. I'm like, no. Thank you.
You're thriving. 30 and thriving.
30s are great.
I love how her book, though, starts with saying, like, the 30s are not the new 20s. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because I was kind of planning on it being this, like, revolutionary decade for me. Yeah. But I see why she said that. So the book is split up into 3 sections. There is work, then there's love, and then there's self, like mind and body. So I wanted to go through some of my favorite sections and like give you a little snippet, guys. You don't have to read the book. You can just listen to this podcast and then get your hot takes on some of it.
I love it. Also, Ella just finished reading it too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
How'd she like it?
Well, it's funny because when we started dating, I was 28 and she was, Ella is my fiance
/ my friend.
/ Kelsey's friend.
Yeah.
So when we started dating, Ella was 25 and I was 28, and I was like, a book you should really read. I wish I had read it when I was 25. I read it when I was older. Is The Defining Decade. And her in classic 25-year-old fashion was like, fuck you.
Tell me to do something, I'm going to do the opposite.
Then this year, at 28, as Ella now is, she was like, wow, this book is...
I wish I would have read it.
It's really great, yeah. I mean, I already went through all this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I was like, meh.
This is like cheat codes.
Yeah.
It is a little cheat codey.
A little bit.
Because you do feel like you know everything at that early age. Or you don't know everything and you're kind of an asshole about it. So the first section in work, she talks about, Meg Jay, the PhD, talks about collecting identity capital. And I was like, that's a big fancy word. I'm already out. And then I was like, well, let me give it another try.
Okay.
And she describes identity capital in your 20s as a collection of skills, relationships, and professional resources we build over our lives. She basically gives advice saying, don't take a dead-end job because GPAs and degrees don't really matter since everyone has them in our generation, and take the job with the most career capital where you'll build the most relationships, learn the most, and grow the most, not necessarily make the most money.
Correct.
Thoughts.
I think that's great. I think that it's not necessarily about making the most money if you're investing in your skill building.
Yeah.
So the absence of the money you're making there is something that you're making room for kind of in the future.
Ooh.
Alternatively, it might not be directly aligned with your interests.
Right.
But everything applies to everything. Like, to put it in really literal terms, when I was in college, one of the jobs I had was being an assistant to a director of this workshop events. Mm-hmm. And these workshops they were workshops for the Graduate School of Journalism, and they ran all year round. So over the summer, I had the job. Over spring break, I had a job. Winter, I had the job. It was great.
Wow.
And it really showed me a lot of event management.
Wow.
And it's not that I'm an event manager today.
But basically.
Well, I know what people need when there's people in a room. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you'd be shocked that for me was, I guess, it taught you about following up, about deadlines, about comfort, about not just picturing the event in terms of the content, but the way people are going to receive the content.
Sure.
You know?
Did that like interest you at that age?
No, what interested me was her, and no, not in this.
Oh, okay. I was like, no, Hannah gay, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned
I'm very gay, but no. I mean, she was just a real role model for me.
Oh, cool.
You know, and also the job was at the Graduate School of Journalism, which was 3 blocks from my apartment.
That's nice. See, I think our age group sees people online more than they did 10 years ago, and it's like wish fulfillment in a way. And we're seeing people like, I have this weird fascination with Tana Mojo. I'd never met her. I've never like understood why she does the things she does, but I am fascinated by the things she does because I realize she has a fuck ton of money. She has what looks like a fuck ton of fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's very honest and self-aware that, like, she's a mess and she fucks up.
Is that the one that did TanaCon?
TanaCon, yes.
Oh.
And, like, I think young people see that she's 21, 22 or whatever she is, and she has millions of dollars. She's doing, like, 6-figure brand deals, and people think that that's, like, normal because she is so relatable. And I feel like you might have had a little bit of influence in that where, like, you had so much success early on and people got to like watch your growth success.
Yeah, I'm making this, if you guys can't see, but I'm making this face because we don't know the deals, her brand deals. We don't know how much money she's making.
She talks about it though.
Sure, but also
yeah, I guess it's true. She might not be honest.
And also like, well, I don't know. I'm not saying she's not. I mean, sure, maybe that's great. But usually people don't talk about how much money they're making.
It's very taboo.
Yeah, and also when you're spending a lot of money, you're not saving anybody. I mean, as silly as that sounds. So, you know, I don't think that is a safe model.
No, no, absolutely not. Yeah. I'm saying, like, did you have anyone in your life that was telling
like, hey,
you,
Hannah, well, you're rich now, like that?
Or like, hey, fucking save this. Like, you're blowing up and you should probably...
Save the money?
Yeah.
I just applied exactly the same lifestyle pattern that I had that had gotten me that far, and I just continued to do the same thing.
Damn, so you were just raised right.
Well, my dad told me to save 30% of every paycheck.
Wow, that's a lot.
And I was emancipated when I was like 16.
Right,
so by the time I was like 26...
Right.
I had already been like independent for 10 years.
Wow.
And a lot of people I think could only around 26 if they've gone to college or whatever, they've been independent for about 4 years, right?
Sure.
So it's just all learning curves.
Time.
Yeah.
Do you think that like it forced you to go into like survival mode because you did have all of those different kinds of jobs and you were able to like grow up pretty quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I have no safety net.
Yeah.
There is no one to call and be like, I need money. So that I think
kicks you into a gear.
It's been a real advantage.
Yeah.
For me, in my opinion, is that like you just have to know how to manage your money because you're trying to build for the rest of your
own life. Yeah.
And also when you have people to support too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because you talk about that in your book, Buffering.
Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Loaded.
Oh my gosh. And you're working on your third book
Third
right
book,
now.
baby.
And it's a cookbook?
It is. It's a light romp into the holidays. It's called My Drunk Kitchen Holidays, How to Savor and Celebrate the Year.
Wow. Okay, that's not the tangent I meant to go on, but I did want to mention that in case you haven't read it. It's a really good book.
I love it. Tickety tangent.
Tickety tangent. Did you, going back to how this like talks about...
A word about managing money.
Yeah.
Just to kind of sum that up. I'm really grateful for the lessons in life I've had regarding money because it's taught me how to manage my money, knock on wood, pretty well. And I would say that if anyone's like, oh, I just don't even know about this, like your retirement plan or taxation for a freelancer or health insurance or any of that stuff. The good news is that the internet has so many incredible resources for it. Like the Financial Diet. That's a really great website.
Right. It's a podcast too, I think.
Yeah. And there's a blog called The Points Guy. Like I'm really big on points.
I subscribe to that. I get it every week.
Yep.
What's his name? He's nice. Brian Kelly, I think is his name.
Nailed it.
Anyways, yeah, points matter.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I don't think we teach enough young people about fucking credit card points.
We don't teach young people about credit.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I still don't, to be honest.
Or loans. And interestingly enough, again, I think that a lot of times people assume that people who've had financial leverage, like somebody helping them pay for college, have an advantage.
Nope.
No.
You're totally disadvantaged because you're living in oblivion.
Yeah.
Not real life. That's not normal.
No, all the people I know who have their shit on track also are paying off student loans.
Do you, like, look down upon people a little bit?
Not
that, like, don't have their financial shit together by the time they're 30?
Financial shit together? No. Okay. I think that the idea that they can't... I look down on the idea that you can't get it together. That you can't understand it.
Right.
Because... You can.
You're choosing actively not to if you don't understand it.
Yeah,
by a certain age,
and it's not like if you read it and you're like, I don't even know what that means. Ask someone who does.
And it's not like insurance where you're like, wait, let me get this straight. I'm paying $600 a month to then also have to meet a minimum deductible of $4,000 a month, which I'll never meet. So I'm just making sure that that's right. And people are like, yep. Yeah. And you're like, that doesn't make sense, but at least I'm on the same page as everyone else who doesn't fucking understand why it's the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to also talk about another section called weak ties, which she describes as weak ties. You have strong ties and weak ties in your personal relationships and your working relationships, and weak ties. So people you like just kind of know as what is it called?
Acquaintances?
Thank you. Big words are hard for me. Weak ties tend to be the best sources of employment, and a large network of weak ties gives you the broadest reach and greatest perspective instead of a few very close ties. So her advice is build up a network of weak ties, and instead of only spending time with your close friends, which bitches be doing in their 20s. That doesn't say that. That was my commentary on it. It's the people you rarely talk to who might lead to fortuitous relationships down the road, and you want that broad exposure. Do you have a lot of close friends, or do you got a lot of acquaintances?
I would say that prior to where I'm at today, actually, yeah, no, I have a lot of acquaintances and a handful of close friends who I would never ask for employment help.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because you don't like asking for help?
No.
Or you don't trust their employment?
It's because you're too close. They know you inside and out. It's almost like putting in, like, I don't know. It's like they know your flaws and your strengths.
And so, yeah.
They
would
know you 360.
Trust you?
Right. Or do they want to be or they love you? And do they want to be responsible for your financial gain?
No.
Right. But a weak tie is like, oh, Kelsey's great in a room.
Yeah.
Let's book her for that.
Oh, that's a good point. And
As opposed to a strong tie who might be like, Kelsey, I don't know. She's kind of in the pits right now.
Shit show.
She's kind of in the pits right now. I don't know if we should give her
She
in.
could fucking handle that. So it's better to, like, not mix those kinds of relationships. I think that's really smart. And, like, I, as someone who has, weirdly, a lot of social anxiety when meeting new people, I always fear the follow-up. So, like, when I meet someone, I'm immediately like, what do I do? Do I grab coffee? Do I add them on Twitter?
Are we lovers now?
Yeah. Are we dating? Is this serious? Like, do you have any opinions on keeping acquaintances amok?
I mean, fortunately, because of the work that we do in entertainment, I get to see my acquaintances at events.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, IRL, like, I spend the majority of my time with Ella, if not just by myself. I love to go to parties with people I like a lot.
You invite people over to your house all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Why do you let people into that personal space?
I only let personal people there.
I don't know that that's true. I feel like you're like, hey, we're having a party after this party. You guys should come over. And I'm like, why would she invite all of these people?
Yeah.
But you don't mind having, are you someone that, like, at least you're controlling that energy and space?
I mean, I like it. I think that, like, we like to host because I like to play games and I like to get to know people. And then
go directly to bed.
Yeah, the end, you know? With the weak ties, strong ties thing, I think a good way of looking at it also is, like, A, B, and C groups, right? So your C group is everyone you've ever met.
Yeah.
And through your C group, through, like, being at similar events, like, for instance, yesterday I was at this Reach Higher college signing day event.
She's very popular.
It was great. Oh, yeah, it was Michelle Obama. I got to hug Michelle Obama
What'd
yesterday.
she smell like?
I didn't smell her.
What?
I didn't.
Did you black out?
I don't know.
Were you trying to be present?
What
happened?
Oh, I made a joke.
Oh, she laughed?
She said the people I was there with also, because it was group photos, were similar to my height of 5'3", and they were like, sorry, we're so short. And Michelle Obama said, oh, everybody's short to me. And I said, that's why you have to reach higher.
Nice.
And then she laughed and she goes, okay, like, haha, I know they pay you the big bucks. And I was like, hey.
And then you felt validated for the rest of your eternity?
I blacked out, as you said.
Wow.
I just remember, I don't even know if I ever looked at the lens even once.
Wow.
You know? I just was like,
it was worth it?
It was.
Did you get, like, a selfie or anything, or is it not that kind of thing?
Not that kind of thing.
That's unfortunate.
Very Secret Service.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she gets that for the rest of her life, huh?
That's the gig.
I don't want to be president. I don't care. So strong ties, weak ties. You were at an event.
Oh, ABC.
Yeah.
So, someone who I see a lot is Scott from Pentatonics.
Love him.
Scott Hoying. Great guy.
Great.
We see each other at friend events. We see each other at event events. And it's always so nice because I know I can go get and give him a real hug.
Ah, yes.
Like, we can actually hug each other. Not like, hey, but like,
oh, good
hi,
to see you.
good to see you.
Yeah.
But like yay. Okay,
Yeah,
bye.
you're here.
You're here. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
You know, kind of hug.
Yeah.
And I would say that, like, in terms of A, B, and C groups, C being your broadest, it's through moments like that your C's trickle into your B's. You know what I mean?
Those are the ones that you would feel comfortable being like, hey, you would recommend him and he would recommend you.
Correct.
And then it's not weird. But you're not, like, inviting him over to, like, he's not in your number one
He's not in
group
my
text.
A group. He's not in my A group.
Yeah. That's how I would think about it. Is like, if they're in your immediate group text, don't ask them for a job.
Yeah.
And don't give those people jobs.
You can encourage them.
Yeah, sure.
And you can cultivate something together.
I love the word cultivate.
Yeah.
It makes me think of a yeast infection a little bit, but I still really like it.
I see that. I get that.
Okay.
I felt that.
It's culture, I think.
Yeah.
Cultivate. I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay, talking about the segment, she talks about why life should look better on Instagram. She reminds people that very few people reach their potential in their 20s. It's more likely to happen in your 30s, 40s, or even 50s. So stop focusing on glory or impressing others and focus on what you want to do with your life. If that means moving to Nashville and settling down, do it. You don't have to become a rocket surgeon. What's a rocket surgeon?
Not a clue. Her case studies and like, there's a little bit like I was like, maybe there should have been a co-author.
Yeah.
With this book. It's not. I would not say it is well written.
No.
I will say it's well collected.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Great point.
Yeah. It's not like you're like, wow, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down in my journal.
Yeah.
later.
No, I'm gonna put that up on a wall.
But it's just like reaffirming, I think, of like, it really is true that there's this feeling that you need to do everything in your 20s, or you're behind, or you're watching other people do things that you're not. It's comparison is the thief of joy, as they say.
Yes, comparison is death. If Instagram hurts your feelings, stop looking at it.
And I don't think we realize how much it's affecting us. I don't think we'll know until like 10 years from now. I was having this discussion with someone last night as we played Catan. I lost, not important. How I'm hoping, Instagram will be a phase in a weird way.
Are you a longest road kind of person? What's your deal?
I was trying to build cities because I was on ore and wheat, but my numbers, there was not a single 8 rolled the whole game, and there was barely any 6s.
Shit.
And those are the 2 most common.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I fucking planned my whole thing on the board.
Dude, we gotta Catan it out.
We do. I need a redemption from last night.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was talking with the person that I was playing with, saying that I'm hoping Instagram will be something of just this decade. Like 5 years from now, we'll be like, oh my God, people used to make their living off of this, or people used to put their validation and their weight in social media. And I'm hoping that things like, Twitter will stay around, because that's where I think you can get news, and there's a little bit more of a passive community. But there's something about like the groupthink death trap that Instagram has a hold of. Maybe that's just me personally.
Were you in high school when Facebook came out?
No.
College?
First year of college.
First year of college.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, no, when it came out, I was in high school, but I wasn't on it.
Right, because you weren't allowed to be.
No.
Yeah. So I am forever grateful that I was in college when it came out, and that it didn't have. When Facebook came out, it didn't have the wall. You couldn't. You had. It was a resume basically.
Yeah.
Kind of like a LinkedIn. It reminded me of LinkedIn. I wish with every fiber of my being that they had kept Facebook 18 and up.
Yeah.
I really, really think it is super toxic.
I don't even really use it anymore, do you?
Well, for kids, no, I haven't had a private account in 8 years.
Do you keep a public business
page? I have a page. Yeah. It's at facebook.com/HannahHartOfficial. You can go to see some fun moments. Okay. But I am so glad that I am not, to think about my 13, 14, 12 year-old self debating about clicking like on like a boy's photo.
Ugh, I just got
or like
stomach ache.
Putting up a photo and seeing that someone you kind of had a crush on double tapped it, and then reading so much into that, and just like all that stuff is so toxic.
Do you want to hear a thing I heard on a different podcast that I'm not going to name because I don't think it's a very healthy podcast? Whatever. I'm just going to give you the tidbit and hear what you have to say about how unhealthy this is. They were talking about if you really want to see if the person you're in a relationship with is like committed or like whatever to you, you make a fake Instagram account. Oh my God. Then you only follow that person, your significant other. Then you go to the activity page, because you know how you can see like, what's the page called? Let me see here.
You can see other people's activity?
It's, the activity page, following. So this is the activity page.
I never click on that.
Me neither, because we probably have too many followers. But so you would follow just your significant other and only your significant other's activity. So anytime they like someone's photo, comment on someone's photo, start following a new person.
Oh man, just scrolling through this, it looks like Katie Couric is cheating on you with the Holocaust.
Oh my God, where'd the Holocaust come from?
It's probably some anniversary.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
That's pretty wildly unhealthy. Like there are, sorry, I stepped on your toes here.
It was fine.
My bad. It gives me too much anxiety to try and keep up with what my significant other's doing on their social media page, let alone myself.
I don't care.
I don't care, she says in a Russian accent.
I don't care.
Speaking about significant others, let's go to the love section of the book. I had thoughts on this, and I want to hear your thoughts. She does a whole section about not waiting too long to get into a serious relationship.
Yeah.
She says, don't be afraid to get into a serious relationship early, because our generation thinks that you're just going to basically fuck your way through your 20s. And then you're 30 and you wake up and you're like, oh, God,
I felt like this was tailored to a very specific type of person that maybe she encountered a lot in her sessions or something. But basically the gist of it is for people that are like, oh, I can date this guy, but it doesn't really matter. Or, oh, I'm going to date this person a little bit. Or, oh, it doesn't really matter.
I know he's an asshole, but I'm not going to be with them forever.
Exactly.
But you're developing habits.
Right. Or I know he's an idiot, but I'm not going to be with him forever. Is that you're taking the time you could be spending in other avenues of your life, whether it's in yourself, in your work, in your family, or in dating other people, and you're pouring that energy into this activity. God. So I think that for me that's the takeaway is think of relationships like, I don't know, you have to think of them like almost like solar systems.
Tickety tangent or whatever.
But it's like, is this person a black hole?
Ooh,
and how close can you get to a black hole before you get sucked in?
My thing was always like in my early 20s was thinking like, if I know I'm not going to even give a funny thought about marrying this person, I'm not going to date them seriously. Like unless I could seriously see myself being with the one, I'm not going to put a label on it. Like it's just fuck buddy status. Because I always thought, why waste the time? Why it really is like a black hole. It's just sucking out pieces of your life that could be spent
other ways
in a different moon,
different
galaxy.
And I think that if you're dating someone and when they call, your stomach drops, break up with that person as soon as you safely can.
God, amen to that. Ugh, I'm thinking of so many people right now in my head. Like the Rolodex is just going through. I thought this one was also a controversial take of Miss J, or Dr. Jay, I should say. Picking your family. She says your significant other's family is as important as they are. And her advice is if you can't stand your partner's family, it's not going to be good for the relationship and is a serious consideration for whether or not you should continue.
I think that's a little too heteronormative.
Ooh, amen, sister friend.
A little bit waspy on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, like if you hate the way they spend Carbonicle Day, which sounds like, I don't know, some like Northeastern.
Yeah, like
right?
Hamptons-y
right?
bullshit.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, if you hate the way they serve mint juleps.
Yes.
That to me felt a little heteronormative because a lot of people, especially in queer relationships, have their found families and they find solace in each other for aspects of family that have been painful, like being rejected or being ostracized or... worst of all, like apathy, you know?
Yeah.
Like if your parents are like, well, you can go do whatever you want. And then when you bring over your partner, they're like, how's your friend? And you're like, not my friend.
Yeah. We're best friends, guys. We sleep in the same room. We've been together for a year and a half. We're just friends. Yeah, and I'm in a hetero relationship, and I don't really like the things that my partner's parents do, and I've been very vocal about it, and I think if anything it's helped us have conversations around hard topics like that, talking about
which
family.
as we know in the post 2016 decade is our social responsibility.
Ooh,
we have to
absolutely.
We cannot just be like
passive.
We can't be like, if you're on your way, if you're at a family gathering and your parent or your SO's parent says something offensive on the way back from a movie, the discomfort you feel in that car is nothing compared to the discomfort being experienced by oppressed communities in America.
Exactly.
And you know? Be like, it's actually more complicated than that. Or like, it seems a little racist. Or like, can we use this as a moment to share experiences with each other in this safe space?
Let me ask you what you think if you know, because speaking shit about my boyfriend's family, I should talk shit about my own family. I have a very right-winged Republican family, not my immediate, but, cousins, uncles. And I am now the person that they make fun of every holiday who's like, oh, well, we can't say that because Kelsey's here, or be careful because Kelsey's here. And it feels like I don't know that I'll ever get through to some of these people that are in their 60s, 70s that have decided that this is who they are. And so do you think it's beneficial for someone who might be in a similar position to me where it's like, at some point, do you just stop?
I don't really have extended family, but I'd like to imagine that if I felt close to them, I would ask, maybe there's a new kind of question you could ask. Like, can I ask how old you were when you started feeling that way?
Ooh, whoa, fucking deep, Hannah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
One time, like, if you've got an uncle in Arizona, which I do have, who's like, Mexicans are coming over on buses to ruin our schools.
Jesus.
And you're just like...
Wow, that's specific.
But he actually said that once.
Wow.
Last time I was ever at a family reunion, actually.
And the last time you were there?
Yeah, it's not really making me chomp at the bit. But they're great people.
Yeah,
sure. But no, I'm sure they are. But, you know, I think about that moment a lot because it made me lose respect for him.
Totally. And
I wish I had fought to find respect for him in that moment. Be like, I'm sorry. Like, or just a way to open it up to be like, I want to believe that the way you feel is founded in something other than
Fox News. Like, I just think it's news related.
I'm just so curious as to what aspects of your life have been actively harmed.
Right. Personally.
Like, yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good advice.
And because usually it's like, well, I started feeling this way when I was being beaten by my own father.
Right. And you're like, oh.
So this is your...
Got it.
Okay, got it. You're just taking the hate that... Okay, got it.
That was really insightful of you.
Oh, and of you.
Let's go to... Okay, last love one. She talks about what's called being in life.
With someone?
I think, it's supposed to be, she gives the advice, to travel to a third world country with someone is the best way to stress test a relationship. You can't escape each other. It'll be a little stressful, and you'll have to do things besides go on dates and have sex. This hit me to my core.
Yeah.
Because my partner and I have only been on vacations where we've been in very comfortable situations. I am an uncomfortable traveler. Like, any kind of travel makes me stressed out. So I feel like, in a way, I've been uncomfortable and we've worked through it together. But third world country?
Yeah. Wow. Jesus.
That seems like a missions trip.
Yeah.
You should go Jehovah's Witness with your partner or something. That'll really test you.
Yeah. Again, like, I think that this is the, like, you know, privilegey part of the perspective. Like... I don't know why you would go to a third world country unless you were doing
something for the third world.
Right.
Don't go there and be miserable.
I mean, yeah, and I'm like, what's Thailand? I know people go there.
I just
Bali.
got back
Is that
from
a
Thailand.
second world country?
I think it's second worldy.
I have no idea. You know what? Google it right now.
Okay.
That way,
Second
look, guys,
world.
we're educating ourselves right now to see what it's all about.
It's a developing.
So it's second world, technically. Yeah. Second world.
Yeah.
So, to go to a third world country.
That is extreme.
That is, I mean, I hope you, if you want to go do some service.
Do it.
But
don't go there to test your relationship.
I think traveling together is stressful enough.
Totally.
You know?
It doesn't matter what privilege you have when it comes to traveling. It doesn't make your problem any less severe. And especially, like, I can speak from insane agoraphobia and panic disorder that planes will test me no matter who I'm with.
You know what tests me? Food served in hotels.
Why?
Well, listen. We went on a staycation. We stayed in LA and went on a staycation.
Cute.
Yeah, it's cute. And for our first Valentine's or something.
And it just got real serious, you guys.
We went to, I'm not ashamed to admit it, we went to Shutters.
Oh.
In Santa Monica.
That's a gorge.
It's a gorgeous location. Oh, very expensive, overpriced.
Yeah.
And I hate nothing more than spending money on a luxury, quote unquote, experience that is not luxury.
Sure.
Hate it. I know it sounds like, wow, what a bitch. Sorry.
No, but it's true. You get what you pay for.
The food, the French, everything was frozen and heated. Oh. So all the food was like vacation resort, basically Disneyland level pricing for like, if you order like, oh, I want steak and fries or whatever, and they bring you the frozen fat fries that are more microwave than like
cafeteria fries.
Like cafeteria fries.
Like buffet fries.
Right. I was like,
bullshit.
That's for a $40 meal?
Yikes. That feels like quite the waste.
I was so upset.
So do you have like a
Oh, it didn't test our relationship.
No, I was going to say, how did that...
No, Ella was just like, that's the thing about Hannah. And I was like, this is a thing about me.
Just in case you needed to know.
I was like, wow.
Did it not bother her? Or was she just not as bothered?
Not as bothered, probably. You know?
Isn't that funny that those are the kind of things you find out about a significant other traveling? It was like, I didn't realize that like you had to have your own toothpaste when you travel or whatever. Very specific.
I found out a fun fact. I have never really had a lot of cavities, and this year I've started
bragging.
developing cavities. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so weird.
Why?
I started getting cavities over the last couple of years. I was at the dentist, and the very talkative, super lovely dental hygienist informed me that cavities are based off of the bacteria your body develops.
Oh, no.
So she asked me, does Ella get a lot of cavities? I was like, oh, Ella's got cavities her whole life.
Hell no. Bitch gave you cavities?
Yeah, she's too sweet. No, but you can share, like, if we share a toothbrush or if we fucking make out and
Do
shit.
you share a toothbrush?
Well, sometimes we have, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, not like,
Ew.
it's not like a thing, but we have.
Okay, as long as I know that there are two separate
There are
toothbrushes,
two toothbrushes
in
our bathroom
okay,
currently.
just making sure.
Mine's black. Hers is an Oral-B with a spinny head.
Got it.
And I was like, oh my God. And then I told Ella, I was like,
You gave me fucking cavities.
and she was like, that's crazy. And I was like, yeah. The end.
Ella's so cute. I can already see it in her voice, her going, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's exactly
Yeah.
how she talks.
You know, at first she was like, no. Yeah, okay, maybe. Wow.
I feel like we don't hear enough about that, though.
Isn't that fascinating?
That is fast. Well, because I know when you first start hooking up with someone different, you tend to break out because your skin oils don't match. And so when you're kissing and your chins rub together, then all of a sudden you break out and you're like, why? Why am I breaking out when I just found someone cute who I like that I want
It's
to
all
hang
their
out with all the time?
microbes on the surface of their body.
Say microbes again.
Microbes.
Okay, I want to get to the last section of the book, so we only have a couple more minutes with you because you're a very busy lady.
Yeah.
This is the body and brain section. And I wrote down one section because I thought it would just like spoke to me in my soul.
Okay.
It's called Calm Yourself. People in their 20s and in this generation react worse than normal to negative information. We take it more personally, especially when it involves criticism of competence. Many people try to change their feelings by quitting their situation, their job, or the relationship, causing them instead of addressing the feelings or conflict. The crazy anxiety many people in their 20s have makes them constantly fear being broken up with, fired, dropped, not being good enough. This can lead them to quit or end relationships themselves so they don't get surprised. People think that the minute things go wrong, they're going to get fired, but jobs aren't that fragile, and neither are relationships. If you run to someone else to make you feel better when something bad happens, you further weaken your own ability to make yourself feel better. Her advice was, learn to calm yourself the fuck down, to realize these little setbacks are not huge issues, that life goes on, and stop relying on other people to cheer you up.
Wow.
You, though, are very self-reliant. You probably can't relate to this as much as I, codependent Kelsey, can. But now that you're entering into a marriage, a legal binding marriage, do you find yourself at all feeling like you rely on Ella more than you've ever relied on someone in your whole life? And is that scary for you?
Yes, and yes. And it's an active, conscious choice I have to make with my mind to give things to Ella that I have to trust. Whoa. And it's really, really, really hard to do. Yeah. Something that helped me out was our couples therapist said this. It's like, if you give Ella a task, like, can you make sure we book a reservation for Maggie's graduation, my little sister's graduating.
Maggie's great. I love
you know? Every day I've asked her, did you book it? Did you book it?
Fuck.
And our couples therapist previously has told me that when we trust each other with things, we're trusting each other to do it, but we have to accept that we're trusting them to do it on their own timeline.
Fuck.
I can't. I'm gonna book it. I'm gonna book it. Yeah, I know. And it's a really hard thing, but you have to realize that you're trusting them to do it. You just aren't saying, do it the way I want it to be done. Because if you wanted it done the way you want it to be done, you should do it yourself. Right.
So, but then I'm that way with
so how do you survive that
planning
feeling?
Everything.
I don't know. I'm in process, man. I have no idea.
Especially because you guys are planning a fucking wedding.
I mean, we each have different strengths. Like, I'm really good at not getting taken advantage of. Yeah. Spending money well. And at not being scared to go, no, that's not going to work for us.
Oh, wow.
You know? Like, if someone's like, I love this. And I'm like, I don't like it. I'm not the kind of person that's like, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I'm the kind of person that's like, I don't love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there needs to be that when you're making huge financial decisions like in a wedding.
I mean, and also I am very comfortable telling people when I'm not happy.
I don't know how, like, to do that. Tell me how.
I don't know. It just is like...
Do you consider yourself a people pleaser?
I consider myself an like a hyper-vigilant over-actualizer.
Whoa.
So, like, if anything, I'm always trying to, like... If someone starts talking to me about something, I'm always trying to, like, really... Like, okay, I'm really in it with you. You know, as opposed to, like, being a witness to whatever's going on. You know? That's, like, I would say... I used to think of myself as, like, a hyper caretaker, but I've gotten really good at trying not to self-sacrifice for unnecessarily.
Totally. You want has to be protective.
Which is really hard, though, you know?
Do you think you're too empathic, or do you not like that word?
Oh, well, when I say people, I'm talking about C group. A group, it's really hard. Yeah. You have to be cautious because you care about the feelings of the other person. Right. If I'm on the phone with someone and they're like, oh, sorry, we know you brought your car in to be fixed, but we broke it. Oh, God. I'm really comfortable being like, well, I am going to come by on Wednesday and pick it up. And they're like, well, how are we going to have it done by Wednesday? And I'm like, honestly, that's not my question to answer. So I will see you on Wednesday, or we will reduce the rate of the invoice.
Wow. So you tell them.
I don't know what else to say.
That's a superpower, dude. Not a lot of people, I feel like, especially women, I don't think have that superpower.
I don't feel bad about it.
Why?
Asperger's? I don't know.
I mean, like, that's good. Like, I wish I had what you're talking about right now. And I wish a lot more young women had that
I don't know. It doesn't strike empathy in me. Because it's not that side of the brain. Right. If someone's like...
Your logic. You're like, well, this is what it is.
Right.
The car's not fixed.
I know you said you wanted a white blouse, but they didn't have any white blouses, so here are some pinks. You're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Or if it's, I know you said you want a white blouse, but we didn't have any, and it's like, oh, it has to be white. Yeah. Because the scene is about a wedding. Yeah. And it needs to match this other shirt, which I gave you. Right. You know what I mean? There's a difference. You're
not like an asshole.
No, there's time to be flexible. You're like, pink's fine. Great.
And it's like that energy thing we were talking about. It's like, how far can you...
Who cares?
And that's why this section really, like, bummed me out so much, is because I think everything personally.
Okay, wait. Yeah, this reminds me of what I really wanted to say, which is actually an epiphany that, again, comes from, not me, but Ella. But, like, it makes perfect sense that our generation is so anxious. Yeah. Because... we saw the recession happen. Right. We have watched as the world... We are the generation that is, like, a part of accepting climate change. You know what I mean? Yep. And the like, only our, like, older siblings immediately above us, right, like, are also part of that. Right. We saw the market crash. We, like... Of course we're insecure saw Donald Trump get elected. Yeah. Of course we feel insecure and like there's not any stability. Why? Well, I don't know. My parents don't have a retirement account. Wow. Duh. Fuck. Like everybody I know lost their houses. Like so why wouldn't we be like, oh shit, I hope I can keep this job.
And it makes it harder for us to make decisions, especially when it comes to finances. Like I know.
Because they're important.
Yeah. Exactly.
I do agree that I would say calm down, not because your feelings are irrational. Calm down because you need to be calm to make good decisions.
Boom. That's a great wrap up. Yeah. You're so smart, Hannah. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you for recommending that book to me. I can't wait. I've already recommended it to 2 other people who already bought it and read it. Where can people...
Don't thank me. Thank Mike Green. Papa Green nerd.
Papa Daddy Green. Thank you for recommending this to Hannah. I know you have 1,000 things going on between the podcast and the Ellen Tube. Tell the people where they can follow you and find you.
You can find me across the board on the internet at Harto, Harto, on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, coming up soon on my YouTube channel, we have the one and only Kelsey herself, who goes on quite the journey with me.
Oh, Jesus.
As we taste, like, $20 store wines.
It's the worst day of my life.
One of them was purple.
Ew.
Sorry, not purple like in a good way, purple like a smoothie.
Yeah, it was the color of gack.
I don't know why they were so creamy.
I will never be able to get the film off of the back of my tongue from that day.
I can't get the film off the camera.
Also, watch all your Ellen Tube stuff, and also Go listen to Analyze
Did
This.
Ellen pay you? Why are you pushing this?
No, because I really liked it.
It's a great show. Go ahead and watch it, but I'd rather you pre-order my book or go subscribe to my podcast.
Well, I figured that's the thing you're pushing right now, right? No, your podcast is the self-help podcast that just can't help itself.
That's right.
I remember when you pitched us that logline when you first had started it, and I was just like, fuck, that's good.
Thanks, baby.
So go listen, especially if you have mental health, which is everybody, so everybody go listen. Hannah Hart, thanks for coming. You're the best.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Bye.
Bye.